Good afternoon, everyone. Just coming to you all, to express my true feelings. I'm very happy, very at peace. It's a lot of neighborhoods, community sectors in an uproar. All these meetings they be having every Saturday around noon, between 12 to 5, 6 to 7, 8 to 10 p.m., trying to figure out what they gonna do, how much has been exposed, how much is still hidden. They trapped. Imprisonment is upright. They outside. Well, they inside looking outside. Those bars are up. That is separating them from society, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. The same things they wanted from me is happening to them. See, that's why you gotta be careful what you wish on me. Especially somebody that can send karma towards you. Like, I dream karma. Every time I breathe, I make sure, look, send karma. Send karma. The same things people wanted for me to be in a desert, just dry, having nothing, no stability, no foundation, no income. Now, people are being dismembered, just like those voodoo dolls they play with. All these organized crimes and sectors, and people ain't happy. They wish they didn't join those sectors. They wish that those ships would have came in. But what's coming in is police cars, federal government cars. A lot of meetings are in reverse. See, people wonder how I know these things. That's because I call down karma. I call in all of that to happen. People want me locked up. I was under falsified documents, false allegations against me, manipulations towards the judges, the DA, the lawyers, the clerk of courts, all these things of hiding mail, hiding documents, trying to sign my name on a dotted line. You gotta understand, when I sign, so I like to scribble. Anything I sign, make sure I touch it and say karma. Send karma, balance it all out. Which means if you don't do what you're supposed to do with those documents, understand that energy you put towards me wanting to sign those documents, trying to manipulate the foundations and trying to control the grounded energy that I am in right now, that I do more than embody. That's just me. Now people are in the mindset of they can't clean things up. How are you supposed to clean things up when you use spell work? 100% of the time, it was all spell work. You put spell work on those people in your communities. Then those people you join, they put spell work on your children, your friends. See, a lot of people losing friends, losing the support, But that's because you chose to join in for the love of money. See, if you would have did me right, you would have been taken care of. I told people I could either open doors for you, have that shit shut. It won't even need to be shut because there wouldn't even be a door there for you to even enter. It's the same things, people wonder why I never had a job growing up. It's because people put hexes on that stuff. I get an interview, but that's as far as it goes. All those skeletons that they thought was buried, in people's backyards. And a lot of people were, people's nieces were having miscarriages. That's because people's family members were doing miscarriage spells on them so that they can use the fetuses, and put in their cauldrons and add their little herbs and spices, all for the love of money. Now these cults, these secret societies are looking at each other. Like, you told us this about her. You told us that about her. You told us she was a bad person. But even they knew I wasn't a bad person. See, I told them I wouldn't join you, but I would help you balance out the things, because a lot of these people that started joining these secret societies, they didn't know what was happening 20, 30 years ago. See, they weren't privy to that information. Now, with me telling these people, part of these organizations, you better be careful. Because you're not privy to this information. I'm giving you information that you don't even have clearance to have. And people wonder, how does she get the information? I get the information because it has something to do with me. I know I do right by people. I help people. I will love people. It was unconditionally. It wasn't conditioned by what you can do for me or what you could give me. See, I know I could do things myself. See, a lot of people wondering how I know the feds out there doing things. I told them I called the feds over a year ago to report my shit. Since people want to play all up in lawyers' ears and put hexes and spells on the lawyers and the DA and the judges and shit, fuck it. Let me just call the feds so they can look into my shit. I mean, even though all these years they've been looking and watching these people all this time. See, people don't understand where I go, the government goes. They have to watch me because I am an asset to the government. I am an asset to these organizations. When they need some information, they come to me and ask me my advice, my opinion, because they know the same advice I give myself to help me stay grounded and balanced and going in the right direction, I would give them. So these fools out here that thought they could follow the leaders with these people that didn't give a fuck about you. They still talking about me in the background. But why are you still discussing me? Because you're not even on my mind. You're not even a factor. I presented myself to you who I was. I told you who I was. I told you why I wanted to help you. I wanted to wipe your tears away. I wanted to hold you. I wanted to make sure that you were stable and grounded. I knew I could help myself. My mind is always on the topic and the discussion of making sure I help. What can I do today to make tomorrow better? Even 30 minutes from now, better. Even though people looked at me in a way, they saw potential. They could have had potential if they would have stood by me, believed in me as I in them. All I told people, just believe. Because I believe in you. I see potential. I see that you can be great. I see the greatness that you can embody. But people rather stand alone or stand with people who don't give a fuck about their asses. Now look at these folks. Trying to figure out who's going to help them. Trying to figure out who's going to be on their teams. Trying to figure out calling all these people that were part of their cults and covens. Trying to get information. Trying to get a leg up. Trying to get some sort of advice. But the thing is, no matter who I'm around, I'm going to give advice. Because I always want the best for you. But I always tell people, be careful how you treat me or when you're around me. Or, my presence hits everywhere. These other countries, I wanted the best for them. Everybody fighting over this racial thing and peace thing. We all want some peace. But I learned to separate myself from it. Why? Because nobody wanted me to be around people that can bring peace, that can help comfort people. People wanted me to be alone, be sad, be scared, be weary. I'm none of those things. I'm happy. I did my part. And I continue to do my part every day. So while I do sit with myself and I meditate and I think about all the things that's going on in the world, I think about balance. I think about the elevation that can bring forth, balancing the foundations of all. I think about these government sectors, these politicians, political parties that's always talking about what they will do, what they can do, but haven't done. So when I watch a video, I say, send karma, balance all of it, because they talking hella shit. They're not going to do what they say they're going to do. See, I do what I say I'm going to do. It ain't, and it's not even for selfish reason. It's because all these kids and babies and all this misinformation and misconception that has been given to people as a form of advice. But all of it is illusions, manipulation, gaslighting, you know. Because if you ask those politicians, people, would they take their own advice? They wouldn't. They know they be lying. They know somebody be writing those pieces of paper that they be reading off of. They know those are somebody else's notes. They just singing to it. They just humming. They just playing the instrument. So yeah, I just wanted to give a message. All these people that wanted to steal from me, poison me, all for the love of money, bring me down for the love of money. See, I know it's not about money. I could care less about it. All I wanted was people to have a clear and clean foundation, homes, houses, so that they can be able to heal, to be able to raise their children and the future generations in. That's what my energy I was going to put my time into. People want to steal my inheritance. The inheritance, I wanted to make foundations so that everything could be free. I wanted to make sure I gave everybody a clean glass cup of water. It wasn't going to be half full or half empty. It was going to be enough to keep you going for lifetimes. But people didn't want that. Even as a child, I seen the potential in these adults. Even though they looked at me as somebody that didn't know what I was talking about. Oh, you too young. You haven't been alive that long. Well, looking at you, I see that you being alive so long, you haven't done shit. You always talking about what you're going to do, but you haven't done. And then you sit back and you blame everybody else and not taking accountability. You sitting with the same folks that don't even like you, don't even love you. Even anyone I come in contact with that doesn't like me, doesn't love me, that's fine by me, because I send karma at you anytime, all day. Even if you look at me wrong, I send karma towards you. Your expression, I send karma. Your words towards me, I send karma. Because at the end of the day, I can help myself. Nobody's going to help you. See, I was placed here to help you. But since people didn't want that help, now everybody shouting from a rooftop, staying up all night crying, mourning, sick, trying to have their emotions. But the thing is, I can feel your energy. I can feel the nervousness, the scare, the fear, the anxiety that you're feeling. That's because you were trying to push that towards me. I know how I feel to be in those situations, so I know what to look for. Even if I'm not looking for it, it will present itself, because I already know what you're trying to present to me. Told my workers about, my check getting cut. They talking about how did you contact the judge about your inheritance? I said, I don't need to contact the judge. I called the feds over a year ago. I reported my stuff to the feds. See, y'all didn't want to help me. Even though I had evidence right in front of me to show you, to present to you. You didn't want to help me. So fine. I reported to the feds. And let the feds do what they do. Because they watch me. Like I said, I'm an asset to the government. So they have to watch me. They have to make sure that I'm in an environment where they can do their surveillances. See, I don't care about them watching me. Not that because I'm doing something wrong. It's because, I'm doing everything right. And they can watch all they want, because they're going to see, they'll learn something from me. They will learn how to be stable, be grounded mentally, emotionally, even if they're not even on a spiritual elevation. But they'll take some away from it if they get in a situation where they may have questions, or they may need to learn how to balance out their anger or their emotions. They can look past all of it and understand they're responsible for their actions. See, that's where faith come in. Being able, when I found out my check was cut, I was happy. Because the thing is, I wasn't supposed to be getting a check anyway. I'm supposed to have my inheritance in 2009. And that's another step forward. I know things are going in the right direction. I know I'm going to get what belongs to me. But it's not about the material things. It's not even about the wealth. It's about making sure that I get justice so that other people can understand that justice will come. Just be patient. Just keep the faith. If you know you're not doing anything wrong, keep it moving. Don't let nobody get you off your journey of healing, of being able to appreciate and be grateful and have gratitude for the things you do have. It's a blessing to wake up and look around and say, oh, this is beautiful. Even though if somebody was in my position, they may see it as not being beautiful. Like you're always by yourself. But I'm happy. Even me telling God, thank you for waking me up, for giving me some peace of mind to be able to do something right today, tomorrow, and being able to reflect, always being able to look in the mirror and say, oh, you beautiful. Keep going, I'm proud of you. Being able to tell myself I'm proud of me. Being able to clap for myself. See, I don't need a bunch of people to clap for me. I could clap for myself because I could clap for other people when they're doing good. So all these people that think they're going to keep hiding and standing in the background, you're not going to stay hidden. I always told people you need to be worried about what you can't see. You're always being watched. There's cameras everywhere. So if you know you're doing right, don't even worry about it. Give them something to look at. Give them something to smile at. Give them something to look forward to. Be great. Thank you.